Welcome, everybody. My name is Jorrit Saaltink. I work for Amsterdam Trade and Innovate. That sounds like a very hip company or something, but it's not. We're just a team of the city of Amsterdam, of the economic department, and we help companies all over the world to find their growth ambition. So that's mainly my task, to help companies to find their goals. I must say it's a really nice job. That's why I'm also standing here, because there are quite some entrepreneurs here who are trying to find their market focus. So that's why also you see a lot of innovations here, a lot of companies. But on the other side, what does the government do? So that's what this program is for. And the main focus is on 2024, so short term. And now I would like to introduce Jaron from Cargoroo.
Thank you, Jorrit. Jaron Borensztajn. We are from Cargoroo. Cargoroo is a company that operates shared cargo bikes. One of those shared cargo bikes is standing there in the stand of the Dutch Cycling Embassy. We have fleets in cities where people can rent those cargo bike with an app, and they use it for their families, for doing shopping, for their business, etc. You will see that there's a lot of electric vehicles on the other side of this hall. And electric vehicles are great, but electric cargo bikes are much greater, mainly in terms of sustainability, because an electric cargo bike uses like 17 times less electricity energy than an electric car. It uses 30 times less material, it's purely the weight, and it takes 5 times less space than an electric car. So if you really want to be sustainable, then you should move to electric cargo bikes, and sharing such a thing is even more sustainable. But we're going to hear an interesting program with different speakers that will tell you what RVO is doing to enable companies like us. So we are very thankful for RVO, because we also use their help to go abroad. We are already in Germany, in Berlin. We are in Belgium. We are doing a pilot in France. So for us, it's important. So thanks, Jorrit.
Yes, a special thanks to RVO today, because especially Joyce, who's sitting over there, because she made this all happen. Thank you, Joyce. I just want to get an example out there, because things we do, for example, are trade missions. And Jaron, you went with us on a trade mission to Berlin. How was that for you?
That was actually very good. Several people sitting here actually were there, so that's nice to see. For us, we can go on ourselves, but as a company that's working in mobility, you always have to deal also with local government. And entry into local government abroad is much easier if you have some help and some entries there. We always need licenses, for example, to operate a shared cargo bike fleet. For us to go there without any guidance would be much more difficult. So for us, it was very helpful to have contacts with local companies, with local stakeholders, and also to get an idea of the culture, of the do's and don'ts. It's also very good.
And just to get the last thing out, how many cargo bikes do you have in Berlin now?
We have 350 cargo bikes. So if you are in Berlin, you probably saw, and you see a yellow cargo bike, that's one of ours. And try it out. You can also try it out in Amsterdam, of course.
Thank you, Jaron. So we are going to be your duo today to talk about all the different elements of this program. But I also organized this with another, I would say, friend, not just a partner, but a friend. And that is Bas Akkers, who's sitting right here. Bas, could you join me? Could you give him?
Hello, everyone. My name is Bas Akkers. For those who do not know me, together with Jorrit and of course with the RVO, we organize a lot of activities to foster your plans abroad. We organize trade missions this afternoon. And yeah, we're going to tell you a lot about the opportunities for you in the rest of mainly Europe.
And just so you know, if you talk to Bas, you talk to Jorrit. And if you talk to Jorrit, you talk to Bas. Then,
So that's why I'm going to sit down next.
yeah.
Because Jorrit is here.
Thank you. Okay. Now, just wanted to check here in the room. We have quite some countries here on the tables stalled out. I just wanted to check, are there people here who are living or active in Germany? Germany. Okay, that's quite a lot. And how about Switzerland? Not yet. So that's an interesting market to discover yet. And how about France? France. Okay. And Belgium? No, Belgium. Latin America. Oh, okay. A lot of there in the back. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Muy bien. And finally, Ireland. No Ireland here. Okay. Oh, that's interesting to just to know who we have in the audience here. Okay. Later you will hear a couple of interesting teasers about all these countries. But first we're gonna go local, and we're gonna go local with a colleague of mine who works at the bicycle program. Her name is Anne Hoving. And Anne, can I ask you to take the stage?
Thank you, Jorrit. Hi, my name's Anne. My name's Anne Hoving. I work for the city of Amsterdam. Here we go. I work with the city of Amsterdam. I don't work in the same department as Jorrit. I work for the Department of Traffic and Public Space, and I work as a policy advisor, mostly on cycling. And what I want to talk to you about today is our cycling policy, our cycling program specifically, and how the cargo bike fits into this. But there is also other policy that the cargo bike fits into in Amsterdam. So I'd like to give you a short overview of those. I will start with my speciality, which is cycling. I think most of you who've been to Amsterdam before, you probably recognize this image. We are very proud to be a bicycle city. Nearly everyone cycles here. It's equally split between men and women. Rain or shine, we cycle. Cycling makes up 38% of all trips made daily in the city. We have over 800 kilometers of bicycle lanes. We have about 900,000 people now, and we have more bikes than people. The estimate is that there's over 1 million bikes in Amsterdam. So that's just to paint your picture. And to help further this, we have our bicycle program, which is our current bicycle policy that is in place. We've had bicycle programs before. This is the current one up until this year. So we're working on our new one. And we've split our bicycle program into 3 main pillars. Smooth cycling, which is infrastructure, easy parking, bicycle parking, and better biking, which is where the innovative fun stuff comes in. And the first one is the smooth cycling. When we talk about smooth cycling, it's mostly about infrastructure. It's very much about connections, because your bicycle network is only as good as your weakest link in your network. We've implemented fietsstraten, it's bicycle streets, which are not unique to Amsterdam. They're everywhere across the country. We're trying to make cycling as smooth, as easy, as safe as possible for everyone by making them mostly asphalt, wide enough, which is a current big issue, is that our bike lanes seem to be getting more crowded as our city grows. Some of the innovations we've made recently is below here is the Meester Visserplein near the Jode Breestraat. If you're a cycling infrastructure nerd like me, you might know the term frietzak, which is the fries bag. It's hard to see kind of, but we implemented here to make the cycling crossing safer is we actually made the waiting area bigger, and the bit where people actually cycle is made more narrow, because we noticed when it was split equally, people actually almost crashed into each other in the middle. But by creating more space here for people to wait before they cross, and then as they cross, people have different speeds, so they spread out and thin out. So it's a little innovative design feature that we've implemented here. And that's kind of the kind of things that we work on within this pillar. We also work a lot with the Transport Authority of Amsterdam, the metropolitan area, and the other municipalities that are around here to expand our network. So there's easy cycling, not just within Amsterdam, but also from and to Amsterdam outside of the city. Our second pillar is bicycle parking, which, again, this might have been seen this in the news recently if you're in the cycling bubble. We facilitate parking in the city, indoor and outdoor. Most recently, a lot of it has been indoor because the main issue in such a big city that's very densely populated is the lack of space. And when you have lack of space, there's only two things that you can do. You can either go up or you can go down. And most recently, we've been going down. So the picture below is the Stationspleinstelling. It is our underwater bicycle parking garage by Central Station. It has space for over 7,000 bikes, and it is underneath the water. These projects, and also like we have the municipal bike parking garages in the Pipe and other neighborhoods. Around these areas, we've implemented that you can't park your bike just anywhere in the street anymore. We have quite strict local legislation in place. That means that you can't park your bike if it's not in a rack, a white square on the ground, or one of our lovely bicycle parking garages. And if you do, we will tow your bike. This sounds quite extreme, but we do actually tow a lot of bikes. Our highest number was pre-COVID, which was 100,000 bikes per year. If you think about the fact there's 1 million bikes in the city, we tow about 10% of it, which is quite a lot. But it is necessary because we do also have a duty to keep our public space accessible. And if our pavements are just full of parked bikes, it's not accessible. And the final one is the fun one, the new biking, which is all about innovation and behavior. There's still some neighborhoods in Amsterdam, like the Southeast, New West, and North, where people cycle less. So we try and implement projects to stimulate cycling there. We also gather a lot of data and get citizens' input on this data to see where are our gaps, where do people feel safe, where do people feel unsafe, what are innovations we can put in to make cycling easier, smoother, more effective, but also for people with less income, how we can make it more accessible for them. So our bicycle program and policy is split up into these 3 pillars. And I was just wondering, I just showed you the cover of our bicycle program. How often do you think? Sorry, that goes. Moral of the story is we have this lovely multi-page bicycle program. We have lots of bicycle policy. We do a lot there, but the cargo bike's only mentioned in there twice. And the only times it's mentioned in there is firstly when it comes to the infrastructure section, the smooth cycling, which is this segment here. And again, we've mentioned the cargo bikes mentioned here as an example, saying, oh, our bike lanes are getting more crowded. How do we deal with this? Because we have more bikes making use of our space. But we do also see this as a positive thing because a cargo bike is, well, in many ways, better for our air quality and just our general public space. And the second aspect where it's mentioned is bicycle parking. This is data from 2016. Do keep in mind our bicycle plan was written in 2016 and published in 2017. So the world already looks a bit different nowadays. But 2016, we did this research to see how many bikes parked in our city are actually cargo bikes. And I think these 2 examples, it's only mentioned twice in our policies, but it does sum up quite well how we view the cargo bike. Which is, we don't actually mention it because we don't really discriminate between bicycles in our bicycle program. The only 2 times the cargo bike comes up in our policy is kind of when it becomes an issue. And that's part of the larger issue we have in Amsterdam is that it's very busy and there's not a lot of space. So our bike lanes are busy and cargo bikes are quite big. So that's something we're working on. And another thing is there's not a lot of public space. Our pavements are very full with parked bicycles. And again, cargo bikes take up quite a lot of space. There is also lots of other policy in Amsterdam. This is just a small selection of recent policy documents that have been released. Like the big one is the Agenda Amsterdam Autoluw, which is the agenda for car light or low car Amsterdam. But there's also like the action plan for clean air, shared mobility, logistics, and our like mobility vision document, Amsterdam creates or makes space. And again, it's interesting to see with all of these policies, it's kind of a similar story. We don't actually mention the cargo bike directly, but we create very specific frameworks. Our aim for a city is a city where the air is clean and our canal walls and our bridges aren't like overloaded with heavy weight from trucks and lorries. We want everyone to be able to like get everywhere safely and maybe get rid of their car or get rid of their second car and use different sorts of mobility. And these frameworks are frameworks that a cargo bike just fits into very well. It clean air, low emissions. These are all things that the cargo bike is. It just fits into our policies. And this has kind of created Amsterdam as a playground for like new electronic mobilities. And it's not just, we've noticed over the past couple of years, the market responds to this extremely quickly. We set frameworks, which I guess if you're in the market, you could see those as limits. And the market is very creative, very fast in responding to those limits and coming up with innovative solutions. But we do also have the picture I just showed you on the left. Is actually a pilot we did as a city of Amsterdam this past summer with our waste collection. We, within the canal belt, collected waste with a cargo bike. So this playground's not just for the market, it's also for us to find the best possible solutions for mobility in our city. The one side note, and that's the thing that we are looking at with our new policies, is this playground should not be at the expense of other cyclists and pedestrians specifically. Road safety is a big issue for us. As I said, with such a crowded city, crowded bike lanes, road safety is something we are concerned about. The city needs to be safe and accessible for all. And if in a city with so many cargo bikes, we still need to have responsibility as a government to protect our citizens and to protect our public space. And it's not just our local policies, it is also national policies. The national government is working on a new framework for their light electric vehicles, which electric cargo bikes are a part of. They're currently still doing their research. They're releasing it, I think, expected in 2025. And we as a city of Amsterdam, as long as with other cities, other municipalities, do get to put input onto this. It's been interesting to see what the new national framework comes back with. Yeah. And I do also have to put in a minor plug. As the city of Amsterdam, as Amsterdam Bike City, we have our own website. If you're interested in more of our cycling policy, cycling news from Amsterdam or from other policies in the city, we have a website in Dutch and in English where you can find all this information. We also have a newsletter and a LinkedIn page, so please check it out. Does anyone have any questions?
Anne, thanks for this very interesting talk. Before the public asks a question, I, luckily, as a moderator, I'm also allowed to ask you a question. And you, of course, guessed what the question is. Many cities are looking to Amsterdam as an example. So there's an opportunity there because of all the challenges, space. You showed two policies which exist in Amsterdam, which is one about how to reduce the number of cars, and the other one is how to handle all the biking and the public space. There seems to be an opportunity there to actually reduce the space claim by putting less cars. And I just mentioned a cargo bike takes about a fifth of the space of a car. So there's an obvious connection. I also noticed that the range of the current policy was from 2017 to 2023. So my question is what's going to be in the new policy, and is there going to be something about this relation?
It's a good question. This is very much our new policy that's coming will be very much in line with the Amsterdam Maakt Ruimte, which is the new mobility vision for the future. So whatever we come up with specifically for our new bicycle policy will be slots in with Amsterdam maakt ruimte, with the Amsterdam Makespace, which I think that is something that they very much tackle, even in their course document, like even just their vision document they've recently published. Again, I don't think they mention the cargo bike specifically, but it's kind of a similar story again, where they set the framework and it's something that fits into that framework nicely. Yeah, I think it's also it's the other frameworks I also talked about where I think that really comes into play. Because as a bicycle policy program, we can't say everyone get rid of your cars, you have to buy a cargo bike. And even as a city, we can't say that. We can influence people, or we can stimulate people, and we can make cycling as easy as possible. I think that's how we try and stimulate this.
Thanks.
Can I? Yeah. I think there's time for 1 or 2 questions. So if it's only for this part that we do questions, later on then we meet up at the table for extra question. But does anybody have a question for Anne?
Hi, Anne. Thank you for your very nice presentation. You just said that the cargo bikes only mentioned twice in the bicycle plan. And I wondered, what are the future prospects in Amsterdam are for cargo bikes? The future prospects for cargo bikes.
So do you mean by that the future prospects from a legislative point of view, or okay?
Well, if I can speak specifically in the pillars that we work with, because I think for the future plan for cycling, those 3 pillars, they might not be exactly the same, but they are the 3 main themes that we work with. If you look at infrastructure, we are looking at to broaden our bicycle lanes, and we're also looking at if it's possible to limit speeds for electronic bikes. We can't make it, you can't make it compulsory for someone to go at a certain speed, but we do try and to harbour the road safety by making bike lanes wider, but also trying to stimulate people to adhere to a certain speed in a certain bike lane. So we hope that would make cycling safer, and that would also have effects for electric cargo bikes. When it comes to parking, we opened some underground parking garages recently, and those are all underground. So you have to go down a ramp to get down them, which with a heavy cargo bike is quite difficult. So there is another bicycle parking that will be opened at Central Station, I think early 2030, 2031. And with that especially, we are really looking, okay, more and more people have cargo bikes. These have a place in our mobility system. How do we adequately allocate space to them? So that's some of the things that we are thinking about and working on.
Anybody else? Okay, one more.
Thank you very much. I'm René Witt from WeW Energy. When I walk around here, I see much bigger bikes to transport a lot of more cargo. How are you going to cope with that? On the bicycle lanes, or are they going to be able to use the normal streets or the traffic with the normal cars? Thank you.
I'm assuming that the bikes you're referring to are electric? Yeah, so that is something that would, we as a city, as a local municipality, can't force bikes to use a different lane. Actually, if there is a separate bike lane, legally, a bicycle, anything that's legally classified as a bicycle, has to use a bike lane. It is with the new light electric vehicle framework from the national government, is a new framework that might give some more flexibility with this. Because at this time, if something legally is a bicycle, they have to use a bike lane. And it's legally very difficult for us as a city to deviate from this. But the new framework next year, 2 years, might offer some more flexibility and prospect with this.
So thank you so much, Anne. Can I get an applause for Anne? So now the next part, it will be Joost, Ronald, and you already spoke. Yeah, could you come to the front? Because I think you have a really interesting interactive session. So looking forward to that.
So we won't interrupt you unless we think that's adding anything.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone. So sorry. Can you hear me? Yes. My name is Puyen Cheng. I work as an advisor sustainable mobility for RVO, the Netherlands Enterprise Agency. Today I have Joost ten Hove and Ronald de Haas with me from APPM. They are helping us to do a research about the opportunities for cargo bikes in urban logistics. We're doing this research to get more insight in cargo bikes and the future of it. So that's why I asked Anna about it. And I'm really happy to hear that you also said that you're working in Amsterdam or on more space or facilities. Can you click? Yeah, thanks. So we are working on a brochure on a leaflet from RVO aimed for businesses, so we can implement more cargo bikes in business processes in the Netherlands. And in this research, we focus on opportunities for best practices and success factors, and in the use of cargo bikes in sustainable city logistics. Well, today actually we don't want to tell you too much about it, but we want to ask a few questions from you. So you will help us today too. And I think you all know more about cargo bikes than I do. But first, Joost will tell you a bit more about first insights of our research. Joost?
So hello, my name is Joost, and together with my colleague Ronald, I'm writing the brochure about the possibilities for cargo bikes in sustainable urban logistics. So as Pierre said, the goal of the brochure is to allow businesses in the Netherlands to get to know these possibilities. So our target audience for this brochure is divided in current users of the cargo bikes, but also potential users. And they can be active in various sectors and can use the bikes in a different way. For example, they can be active in the delivery of post and parcel, but also of food. They could be active in retail, so this includes small businesses with physical stores, and also in service logistics. So the brochure is to be finished by the end of this year and probably will be published at the beginning of next year. Would you consider? Thank you. So then I will briefly talk you through some first insights. So the potential for the cargo bike is very high, mainly in dense urban areas, where it is possible to deliver a high volume of packages in a compact area or have a high number of delivery locations in the same area. And also zero emission zones or future zero emission zones, and the fact that city centers are very busy give reason to explore different modes of transportation. So the users of cargo bikes indicate that one of the main advantages of using them compared to a delivery van is that the drivers are more flexible and can move more quickly and efficiently through the city center. And because this improves your logistical process, this can eventually also lead to cost savings. Yet the experiences differ between sectors. So for example, someone who is delivering a large number of packages every day uses the bike in a very different way than a retailer who occasionally delivers an order by bike. This can also lead to a difference in, for example, the maintenance costs, which can be explained by the fact that the cargo bikes that are currently on the market require frequent maintenance when used very intensively. The reason for this is that components such as the tires and the brakes are not fully developed, and therefore they can wear out more quickly. When talking about costs, it is important for companies to understand that the costs go beyond just the purchase price or the monthly lease price and need to be seen in a wider context. So the maintenance costs add up to this, but also costs for training your staff, and also the fact that implementing cargo bikes in your logistical process asks for a change, which also adds up to these costs. And then finally, it needs to be said that the cargo bike is still an innovation and it's developing rapidly. And there is no perfect or ideal type of cargo bike yet. and the type of product or the size of the load determines which bike fits best. So now we want to start the discussion, and I will give the floor to Ronald, who will handle the discussion.
Yeah, so what we will ask of you now is to log into menti.com, and then we will guide you through some questions. Because like PN said, we are doing a short research, so we're interviewing a few companies. But of course, all the people here are cargo bike fanatics, I would say. So maybe you have got interesting information for us to take with us in the further of the brochure. Yeah, we've got now 19, 20 still going. So the code is 84099865. And if you enter that code, you will come onto the landing page, I think. We're 27, so it's going well. But I think there's still people scanning, so we'll wait a little bit. What Joost just said is also that we are looking into different categories of companies. We've talked to companies like DHL or PostNL, and you can see, of course, that their use of the bikes is very different from a small business that delivers maybe like once a day flowers or some drinks or breads or whatever. And it's also very different from a person like a gardener or someone who does the plumbing in your house, who actually comes to your house, parks the car, takes out all his tools, does physical work in your house, and then goes out again. And we see that in our research, we see that the best practices and the experiences of these different types of companies, they differ. So we think that's important to actually specify the best practices for the different sectors. So I think we're about ready now, I think. Did we start with the... Oh, yeah. I think... Is this the first question, Joost? Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to ask you what the percentage of urban logistics could be that could be replaced with cargo bikes. We tried to look into some research, and you see actually that the cargo bikes, of course, that's a whole. It's part of city logistics, and on city logistics, there's people doing research like the University of Applied Sciences of Amsterdam. But actually, it's quite difficult to actually, of course, predict what the percentage is. But I think, yeah, I think have we got? Yeah, I think almost everyone answered. But you can see that also on the line, you see that there's quite a variety. There's someone who said 100%? Who's that? Who's the optimist in this audience? Why do you say that?
Because I'm an optimist. No, joking. I think you can better ask a question, why not?
Good question, good question. The things that we hear is that not all the goods that you want to deliver with city logistics, they either don't fit in a cargo bike, or the range is long, or you don't want to use the hub to actually change the goods. There's a lot of people that say probably, I would say about 30%. Who said 30%? Who thinks it's 30%? Yeah.
Oh no, yes, 30% seems completely rational, especially by volume.
Yeah. So that's, I think it's a good thing also to add. You can think about trips, or you can think about volume. Let's see what the answer said that we found on the internet. It's about 10%, 10 to 15%. And of course, it seems low. But that is, you have to remember that city logistics is like, there's a whole lot. So it's all the vans that go into the city, that's all the deliveries of all the shops and whatever. So of course, you have to think about, okay, so for what specific line of goods are the cargo bikes maybe feasible? And for a big concrete plates, it's not feasible. Of course, it's not feasible, of course. So just to give you some insight that we found. Next question. So what do you think are the incentives for people to actually start using cargo bikes? So if you have a business, what do you think is the main driver for your business to actually start using cargo bikes? And here we have an open ending, so we can see the answers. And we see a lot of sustainable people, or people that say sustainability. Who says sustainability? Yeah. And why do you think that?
I think it's cheap, first of all, but no, unsustainable. I said cheap and sustainable because there is no pollution to it. Okay, there are batteries, but we will use probably in the future hydrogen, I hope. But no, it's very sustainable compared to CO2 emission fossil fuels.
Yeah, so what we heard in interviews is that actually sustainability, funnily enough, for a lot of companies, it's not the main driver. So the main driver is indeed economy. So get the goods there more fast than with the vans, because the vans are always in traffic and everything. So you're more flexible, you're faster. So sustainability is a driver mainly for people that don't use it that often, but think it's a good, it's nice, something nice. So you're like a small business and you think, well, let's do something sustainable and maybe I can use it for like all flexible, but it's not, and we don't hear it as the main driver. Minimizing cost, or at least speed and delivery, versatility. What's here is one thing that most companies tell us. And also, I think this is also good. More available drivers. We hear that also too. Sometimes we interviewed a guy. He said, "I don't even have a driver's license, so there's no choice. I need a cargo bike." But there's also people that say, "Yeah, we think that the people that we have for delivery, they like being on a bike." On the other hand, we also hear that it's very hard to transfer your current delivery personnel from a car and a little van onto a bike. And so that's actually quite a challenge. We heard that a few times as well. The challenge to actually change your process with to cargo bikes is actually, what my personnel doesn't want to do it. Okay, next question. So then the biggest challenges. What do you think is like the main reason, or the biggest challenge that you have? Maybe the rain. Maybe the weather could be one of the biggest challenges. Great. Especially in noise, at least. Yeah. The weather. Yeah, there it is. There it is. And it's actually true. We heard that. So if you want to actually put your people on a bike, you really need to help them to also survive this kind of Dutch weather. So you need good clothes, you need gloves, you need a place where you can actually change. If you do service logistics, for instance, you're a physiotherapist, and you come on a cargo bike and you're all wet. Yeah. So what do you do when you walk in someone's house? So those things are operational things that are important. High purchase price, yes, I think so too. We heard that a lot. The bikes are still being delivered, but the costs are still quite high, especially for the really the bigger bikes that you see here. They're almost as expensive as a van, or maybe even more expensive. So then of course like the purchase cost is high. But of course when we start using them more often, the price may come down. And the other thing, lack of suitable infrastructure. We just talked about it with Anna also as well. Of course, infrastructure, yes. At the moment, it's still a plus. So people say we use a cargo bike because we can actually pass all the traffic jams in the city. So if we do more low car cities and more restrictions for cars, it gets even better. But then, of course, we need to expand the cycling infrastructure. But on the Amsterdamse grachten, lots of people say, it's actually nicer with a cargo bike. You have more space. Also, other bikes can pass and stuff like that. So yes. All right. Next question. Yes. The potential. Where's the most potential? So, do you think it's more mainly in a high demand delivery? So post and parcel. Do you think it's in retail or small businesses? Or do you think service logistics, like the plumber and the painter and the physiotherapist, and what's the most important sector? And or if you see any chances that are not under these three, please state so. Yeah, there's someone there. Who said something other? And what kind of business do you think has great potential for a cargo bike?
Installation services, greenery. So all the things the city now uses, but still uses not, I think, in the most intelligent way.
Yeah, we sort of put that under service logistics, but I can understand what you say. Is there anyone else that sees a good business that is maybe not so? Who did? Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about roadside repairs, which we are offering, but it's also falling under service logistics.
Maybe for people who don't know, Wouter works for the ANWB. So you are actually repairing cars on a bike.
Yes, we repair cars on a cargo bike.
So yeah, there are a lot of innovative business. Well, we can see that people think that in the delivery, post and parcels, the cargo bike is most potential. We talked to DHL and we talked to PostNL, and of course they use it a lot. DHL says actually we use it especially in the express delivery. So when we need to get all the parcels or the letters or whatever out faster, then we need it. They also say, of course, we need hubs. So we need to actually have a place where you can actually transfer the goods from the bus or whatever. And they also say we cannot do all our business with bikes. So yes, there is potential, and there's still a lot of companies that they can actually improve, I think, and use it more. But at the same time, also there, it's not 100%. All right, do we still have one more question? Yeah. And then we have the stakeholders. So who's actually going to help us and the cargo bike to grow, and who's the most important player? So is that the businesses itself? Is that the manufacturers of the bikes? Do we need the bikes to be better and then we actually can grow? Is it the local government? Or maybe we want customers to ask more for a cargo bike. We also heard in a few interviews that lots of companies don't even have the choice. So it's not that the customer is actually forcing them to change into cargo bikes, but because it's not like in the website or in the software, it's not possible to actually say, I want it with a cargo bike. But that could be an option. And there's someone who said something else. But first, the local government. Who said local government? Who else said local government? There's 15 of them. Yeah, that's all the local government people. So I want a non-local government person who says that the local government has to solve it. Who wants to say something? Yeah. What do you think the local government should do first?
Well, coming from where I'm from, Luxembourg, provide infrastructure. It must be the first and primary task to do. Also, giving subsidies to business to make the switch is also important. But for me personally, it is the infrastructure. It is the infrastructure.
So yeah, infrastructure, of course, I think it's a very important condition. Also, indeed, subsidies. We talked about that, and yeah, not many companies actually say that will actually help them. I think for companies, it's more in does it fit in their logistic process? Can it actually help their business? There was one person who said other. So there's a magic organization still that can help us. Who is that?
Hello. I say the polluters have to get into, and the insurances.
So that's a good thing. The polluters and the insurances. So we actually should tax maybe the cars that actually go into the city, and then give them subsidies to the cargo bikes. Is that something, Anna, that you can consider for 24 to 31? No, but I think it's a good idea. And yeah, you see, so the customers. So sometimes we think that the customers is a driving force. We spoke to Marleen Kookt, who does food delivery, like ready-made meals in the Netherlands, and they said, yeah, we like it. We think that we actually, our business is all about sustainability, so we think that we need to deliver it by by bike. And then we ask, so do people actually say it? Well, some people, yes, say give you a compliment. Some people don't care. So it's difficult to, especially to market it as a sort of like surplus quality level or something. All right, the last question is, I think, is something you can. These questions are just questions that you can fill in. We would like to see in which business you are in. Maybe you're not in a cargo bike business, but then at least you can say other. Which country you're from, and then we can use that in our information.
And they will not appear on the screen. So
they will not. Yeah. So it's all private. Is there anyone who still has a question, or I can give the floor back to Jorrit?
Thank you so much. Does anybody have an extra question? Otherwise, I want to thank you all very much for this interactive session. Thank you. So, okay. So now we came to the ultimate part of this general session. And that is actually about the pitches. And we call it pitches. You can also call it teasers, but it's about opportunities abroad. And first of all, I would like to welcome Carolina Ramos. Muy bienvenida. To come to the stage.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carolina Ramos. Are you changing the slides? Who's changed? Perfect. Thank you. So I developed together with my colleague Adrian from BDP for RVO, for Jaron, and for Eric, and the Regional Business Development Latin America, this project, the market opportunities for 6 countries in Latin America, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Panama, and Uruguay. And this is what I will present for you today. First of all, I would like to start with a nice experience for this one. We did a lot of interviews, both in Latin America, in the 6 countries, and in the Netherlands. Some of you are here and helped us. And I hope after this presentation, you really would like to invest in Latin America. I'm from Colombia, and I know that all of you here have something to give to the country. So be open-minded, and I hope you can export one of your ideas there. So for each of the countries, it was really difficult to actually investigate everything about sustainable mobility. So we agreed on different topics per country and different cities. The only exception was Panama. The focus was public transport, and the results were a little bit different than public transport. So you will see them now. So let's start with Argentina. I'm not going to read all these tables. You will find that I think Eric and Jaron, you will share the link for the report where you can see everything really in detail. Basically in Argentina, we focus in the city of Buenos Aires and Cordoba. What we see in both cities is that they want to invest in cycling infrastructure and road infrastructure as well, and a lot of opportunities for new materials. In terms of something that is really for this podium, they have and they want to do together national master planning with cycling as well as sustainable urban mobility plans. One important part that is opportunity that maybe is not so active in the Netherlands for buses, but for cycling, is the retrofitting of cycling for different purposes, mainly for tourism areas. So, and that they really want to do retrofitting on electrical bikes. In Chile, it's really interesting. First of all, Chile has the biggest fleet of electrical buses in Latin America, and the second one is Colombia, and the biggest one outside China. And they want to keep changing this fleet towards electrical buses, not only in Santiago, but as a metropolitan region as well. And one really interesting opportunity is that they will want to invest in 47 kilometers of cycling infrastructure together with bike sharing systems. It doesn't sound much coming from the Netherlands, of course, but it's a lot for them. So there's a lot of opportunities there and all related infrastructure as well. Also, before we continue with the next one, electrologistics in Chile is really important and they want to start pilots on the topic. In Uruguay is the less developed of all the countries, so they want to make sustainable mobility planning. And in terms of cycling, they really want to invest in tourism as well, but mainly in PPPs and also for electromobility in buses. And there is a really important opportunity. They want to invest in 15 buses, 150 taxis, and different other public transport services. So there are a lot of intersection opportunities there. For Colombia wants to renovate, so their public transport system is old. Although we have the second biggest fleet of electrical buses, they need to renovate all the diesel buses. So they need more than 2,000 buses in the coming 5 years. So that's a really big approach. Oh, and something that I'm forgetting, and I think all the electrical consultancies here, all of the countries do not have a grid assessment. So they have no clue if they want to be zero emissions, what will happen. So if you are in the topic, please go to any of these countries. In Colombia, they are really advising cycling. We have the biggest, especially in Bogota, we have 800 kilometers of cycling routes. And they have a bike sharing system, but they don't have complementary services. So there are a lot of opportunities in that particular topic. Cycling logistics is the pioneer in Latin America, so I hope there are a lot of opportunities for every one of you that has a stand here as well. And bike tourism. This is not only in Bogota, which was our focus city, but all country-wise. In Costa Rica, they really want to invest in the electrical train. They need to invest more in the organizational part. In the reorganization of the public transport system is really disorganized. So before anything electrical comes, that needs to be first. Bike sharing systems, especially related to tourism. Cycle logistics as well in the municipal part. And most importantly, training and capacity building. They don't have the knowledge for any of this, and they would really like support from the Netherlands in this topic. And for Panama, which was really interesting, they want to renovate almost 1,500 buses. They don't want to invest anything on cycling. Unfortunately, they are really focusing on the car infrastructure. And well, this brings other opportunities for the car infrastructure, the taxis, charging for e-vehicles, car vehicles. But they also want a lot of capacity building and grid assessment topics. Last but not least, some recommendations. All this land, of course, Latin America, we speak Spanish. So if you go there, please, you need a partner to do everything officially. Here we have Eric and Jaron, and I will be there, but approach the embassies, approach RVO, and take part of the trade missions. There are a lot of opportunities that they can match you up with any other companies. Approach entities like GIZ, WRI, ITDP, C40. They are always looking for pilot projects, new ideas. And recently, GIZ Latin America is investing. They are funding as well, so they're becoming sort of a bank for Latin America. Be aware of all the tenders from the international financial institutions, World Bank, IAB, well, and if possible, try to make a sample, take your product for free to any of the cities. I know it sounds crazy, but in Latin America, we don't trust people unless we show the product for free. So it's hard to say, or at least a workshop, but it's an idea and that will make it easy. And as you can see, there are a lot of potentials. There are a lot of tenders coming. So they need to know you as well. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope you can download the report soon.
First of all, Carolina, I've never seen somebody discussing so many countries in such a short time. So
Yes.
impressive, impressionante.
Thank you. Gracias.
Does anybody have a question for Carolina? We can only do one question. So is there any question? Otherwise, you can find her. Oh, yeah, there's one.
Jaron has a question.
Jeroen has a question, of course.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias, Carolina. Is there anything you can add, maybe one or two phrases on Mexico as well?
Oh yeah, I thought that someone from Mexico that was going to present. Oh. I think there's someone from Mexico that will present. Yeah. Oh, at the table. But I can say also from Mexico.
Thanks.
We also at Panteia, we did the same study for Mexico, but it was last year. There are tons of opportunities. We analyzed the whole country. In the north, although maybe not so relevant for this audience, they really want to invest in cars. There are a lot of cars. So for shortcoming opportunities, if you have anything related to cars, car technology, that is your target. If you're going to the south, people need another mode, and cycling is the option. They walk up to 15 kilometers to access one bus. So the opportunities of doing sustainable mobility planning with cycling is great also for walking. And in the center is to scale up the current cycling systems that are there. So Mexico City has tons of cycling roads, tons of bike sharing systems. So if you have innovative ideas, that's the chance to do it.
And you can find Carolina at the table Latin America.
Thanks, Carolina. I'm going to announce Jorrit, Saaltink and Bas Akkers, who are going to tell you about the missions to France to autonomy and to move in London. And I, of course, am going to give you two critical points of attention. I have been in a situation that I have exported cargo bikes to the UK. I can show you an email trail of 500 emails that were necessary to do that. So my question is it still doable and is it still interesting to do business in the UK? Don't have to answer it now. Similar question to France. I have the idea that in terms of cycling, France may be going faster than the Netherlands and actually is maybe going to take over the lead position as an example country for cycling. Are we still innovative enough in the Netherlands to be an example for the French people? So that's the things I want to give to you, and then you can start your talks.
Those are amazing questions. We have somebody from the Embassy of France here. Maybe she would like to respond to that. Adriana?
Good afternoon to everybody. Oh, it's quite complicated to give you an answer to that to your interesting question, but it's true. There are many innovations in France, and we will try to find out if the Netherlands is still an example of that. It will be France in the future. But for the moment, I can't answer this question.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, of course, as Amsterdam, we have a special relationship with Paris when it comes to cycling. That's one of the reasons, actually, that I'm planning this trip to Autonomie in Paris in March. It will be a combination of an NL lounge and also a trade mission or inspiration mission, depends on how you want to see it. What we're going to do is we're going to build in some elements. One will be about, for example, the French railroads and the Dutch railroads working together. That would be an interesting thing because, as discussed before, the stations are very interesting hubs. Another element is a company called Rowboat. They're building autonomous boats in the canals. They're going to do something in Paris, and it might be in a combination with cycling. So that will be another element. We will, of course, look for ourselves, Jaron, how Paris changed through the COVID time. As I heard, it's an amazing transformation. So that's also something to look at. And there will be many more, of course, with Adriana, with the embassy. And we are trying to build a very special NL lounge over there. So if you are interested in that, please, you see the French flag over there. I will be standing there with Adriana if you have any questions. Can I give now the word to Bas?
Hello, good afternoon. Bas Akkers again from the Utrecht region. As for you who don't know Utrecht region, we invest a lot in the sustainable mobility, especially in the bike. We've got the biggest parking lot of the universe. We've got a Utrecht bike community. Next year we're going to have the Dutch Cycle Week. And do we want to keep all that? And we've got a lot of interesting companies as well in our region. Do we want to keep that for ourselves? No, we don't. We want to share it with the rest of the world, with the rest of Europe. And that's why we go to Move in London, as we did last June. Next year we're going again to June. Last June we were in Move, which is a very interesting sustainable mobility trade fair, congress, conference, etc. We went there with Amsterdam and the RVO and the Dutch embassy in London with, I think, approximately 20 companies from the Netherlands. And they were all very excited and they had a lot of leads and did a lot of businesses there. So yeah, if you want to know more about Move in London, please come to me or Jorrit afterwards.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, Move is a very international event. So it won't be just on the UK market. So it will save you maybe some paper trail.
And it's a 2-day trade fair with conferences, etc. And we are planning to do some trade missions, forward of afterwards as well. But so far we're going to have a Dutch pavilion on Move with probably only a small fee for you entrepreneurs to stand there and to pitch your products.
While you're still standing, could you say something about Germany?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you all about Germany. Together with the Dutch Cycling Embassy and the RVO, again the RVO, we wrote a strategy for the German market. So far we had one off, so we went to a couple of trade fairs, a couple of regions to show our Dutch cycling products, but we want to do it more coherent and structured. So we wrote a strategy for the German market, and we got some money from the RVO, some budget from the RVO. This year we executed the strategy, and we practiced a little bit. And next year we're going to do it even more better and profoundly, because we know what to do and what not to do. To keep it very practical, we're going to Velo Berlin in the 13th and 14th of April. We don't have a stand there, but we are going to have a nice program there to give you a lot of leads and pitch possibilities. We're going to Polish Mobility in Cologne. There we have a Dutch pavilion. We're going to Eurobike, the R is missing, in July in Frankfurt. Also a Dutch pavilion together with the Dutch Cycling Embassy. Also probably only a small fee for you to have there a couple of square meters to show your product or service. Probably we're going to organize a trade mission in the autumn of 24. And especially, it's very interesting, we also have got from July till the end of the strategy, a liaison officer, which is a German woman, which is an expert on the German cycle market, and she's going to help us implement the strategy to help you with finding interesting leads, interesting companies. Also a little bit how to do business with Germany for the cycling industry. And of course, we're going to do some marketing and communication with you. So if you're interested or if you've got questions, please contact me.
Also, they can find you at the table in the back.
Yeah, at the table, and we're going to have some drinks at the Dutch Cycling Embassy. So
exactly.
I'll be here till the end.
Thank you, Bas. Can I ask Michiel to come? So another country, a very close country, is Belgium. And we have Michiel here from the Belgium Embassy. Michiel, can you tell something about Belgium?
Absolutely, Jorrit. Thank you. So Michiel Depree from the embassy in Belgium. Belgium, close country, a country with a lot of potential because that's something we really see, and especially on the field of sustainable mobility and smart mobility. It has been an important topic for us for already quite some years. We're talking about CITS, electric vehicles, charging infrastructure, bikes, e-cargo bikes. So I will come to that a bit later. It's a close country, but don't mistake, it's still abroad. So we see that it's yes, a fault that a lot of companies make, and we speak the same language, but pay attention, it's still abroad. So some interesting developments. First of all, if we look at the EV sector, a lot of electric vehicles in Belgium. I think the numbers doubled last year. So we need infrastructure, charging infrastructure. Especially in Flanders, we see that investments are rising. Local authorities, also the Flemish government, and I'm making the distinction because mobility is a regional competence in Belgium. So we have 3 regions: Walloon part, Brussels, and Flanders. But Flanders is really the key. We see the investments and the amounts are raising. Another interesting topic are bikes, e-cargo bikes. I think if we look at the sales, it was multiplied by 8 in Flanders. So as entrepreneurs, it's very important to see those developments. We mention them. So please find your way to our embassy. We're there for you. You're already paid tax money. We have free services for you. We write market reports. I will be there at the table. So please find your way to Belgium to elaborate on your topics.
Also, this morning we had a conversation with a couple of entrepreneurs that might want to join each other into a cluster to Belgium. It will be about mobility hubs. So it will be about multimodality, not just cargo bikes, but different types of modalities. We're still at, well, a number that is acceptable, but we would like to have some entrepreneurs joining us. So also, Michiel and I will be standing at the France-Belgium, La Belgique table. And if you want to know more about this cluster that's already happening to Belgium, also join our table. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, can I ask, because the next country is Switzerland, can I ask Philippe to join us? Because Philippe will tell you a bit more about the bicycle trade mission to Switzerland.
Yes, another mission. Hello, my name is Philippe Evers and I'm a business development coach at RVO. So I help companies with their activities abroad. So know where to find me later. I have a table over there. Next slide, please. And I would like to tell you about an economic mission we'll be having concerning bicycles. I saw earlier that none of you were already active in Switzerland. I think that should change because right now Switzerland is in the process of making new laws and legislation for increasing the support for bicycle traffic. And it's, of course, with the very hilly landscape, it's also a very good opportunity for cargo bikes, electrical bikes. So I think the time is now. And to make use of that opportunity, we will be organizing a mission, an economic mission to Switzerland with the help of the Dutch Cycling Embassy. And we are right now in the middle of building the program. This is the program as it stands now, but it could change a bit. But the good news is that there is still some spots left. So if you are interested, I would encourage you to sign up. And if you're still doubting about it, come talk to me. And yeah, we will see if it could be interesting. And thank you for this time. I will talk to you later.
Thank you, Philip. And last but definitely not least, we have a person who is very dedicated to cycling, Lisa. from the RVO, and she has something to share for you about Ireland, but also I think about a program. So Lisa, the floor is yours.
Yes, can anybody hear me? Yeah, okay. Oh, this is okay. So yeah, I'm Lisa. I also work at the RVO. Yeah?
Yeah, better.
Better? Oh, yeah, better. So I'm Lisa. I also work for the RVO, the Dutch Enterprise Agency. I took some notes because I always forget a lot of things that I want to say. So there, some people of RVO already stood before me and told what they were doing. We have 6,000 colleagues, so I will not tell you everything about the RVO, but I will try to tell you the things that are relevant for you. And that is how we're trying to focus more on the cycling sector. And actually, we're looking to how we already did it in other sectors as well. So last year, I'm not sure if you have seen this, my colleague who's sitting over there, he published the international earning potential of the cycling sector. I have it with me, and I will also have a table, so you feel free to take a look. But what this study also made happen is that some of the ministries woke up and saw, oh, there's potential in the cycling sector. So let's invest a little bit in that. So RVO now has more time and budget also to help. And we work together with Jorrit and Bas and the DCA and Jos. I'm not sure if Jos is here. There he is. Good work. So we work together with the ministries in order to help the cycling sector to find those business opportunities in other countries. So we will establish as an export group. So what is an export group? It's actually maybe the slide before, because I still have to mention some of the... Yeah, it's a sounding board of companies in order to have more deepened exchange between us and the sector. Because as you know, we make yearly plans for trade events. But we would like to get in touch with the companies itself to actually hear what you want to do. So it becomes more of a demand-driven group. And also by establishing this group, there's one contact point, which is me. So feel free to contact me anytime if you have any questions about the trade program that we're working on. Next slide, please. So yeah. What are the opportunities for you as a company with this export group? We will organize group meetings, which will help you to network within the sector, but it will also give you the opportunity to actually give feedback to RVO and our trade program. So if we, for example, come up with 5 priority markets, countries, and we hear from all of you that 2 of them are not relevant for the companies, then maybe we can change something and make the program so that it's more effective for you actually. So it gives the companies much more input into what we're planning. And also what we have seen in other sectors, what's very helpful is an export booklet that we will also make for the cycling sector. This is the one for the hydrogen market, which is obviously something really different. But the first half of the book just gives an overview of the, in our case, would give an overview of the cycling market in the Netherlands and everything that belongs together, so the broad cycling market. And then the second part of the book is company profiles. So any company that has ambitions, international ambitions, can sign up with me today to be in the export guide. And then the last slide, I think most things were already discussed. One thing that has not been yet discussed is Ireland. In Ireland, I'm not sure how many people have heard this, but they have given huge amounts allocated for cycling infrastructure, which is 360 million annually. But they don't yet know how to actually spend the money. So there's a huge market potential for Dutch companies. We went on a little fact-finding mission just 2 weeks ago to find out what the Dutch actually could bring and if there's potential. So yes, there is potential. There's a report being written as we speak, and I hope we can publish it in the beginning of next year. And also then obviously we planned a trade mission around those dates to actually take the companies to Ireland. And if you're interested in the export group or being in the booklet, or you have questions about the earning potential or other countries, I also have a table. If you're missing countries, that's also very valuable input for us. So anything that's not presented, you can also tell me, and maybe we can do something about it in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So we started this session with, okay, we have a lot of innovation here, a lot of companies, they do a lot of things. But what does the government do? Well, I think we talked a lot about that now, maybe a bit too much even. So I guess now it's time to mingle a little bit. And we can meet each other at the tables here. There are different countries placed. And in about 40 minutes, I will grab the microphone again, and then we're going to go for a drink. Thank you.